Welcome to the Fit Marriage Show, the #1 straight talk fitness show for busy folks. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, and today I'm excited to bring you Portia Page. Portia is a gold-certified Pilates teacher through the Pilates Method Alliance. She's a faculty member of the Balanced Body University. She's a Pilates instructor. She's an ACE and AFAA certified group fitness trainer. She is the author of Pilates Illustrated. Portia has so much knowledge in Pilates that I'm really excited to really dig into Pilates with you so that you can learn more and find out if Pilates is something that would work for you to reach your health and fitness goals. So without further ado, let's join Portia.
Portia, welcome to the Fit Marriage Show.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Good. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you on, and I will have to tell everybody Portia is here in San Diego just like myself, and it's awesome because we still get to use Skype.
Oh, I know. It's such a wonderful thing, technology.
It is. It is. So I briefly introduced you in the intro there, but let's start off with you sharing how you got into Pilates and your journey to where you are today with Pilates.
Well, let me think here. It goes back a ways.
Okay.
I've always been active. I was a gymnast and a dancer in high school and junior high, and went to college and kind of just went the gym route. So I started going to the gym all the time and I really enjoyed it. Started teaching group exercise and really love that. So that's been my passion for the last 20 years. And back in the mid 90s, I was competing in aerobic championships, and I had a group of people in San Diego that I'd gotten together that we all were, various age groups, and we were all interested in competing. So we trained together and did stuff together. Well, one of the guys who's a really good friend of mine now and who's my Pilates mentor, Bruno, he's actually in the book too. He's the guy in the book. He was doing Pilates back then and had his own studio. And got us girls he says, you have to do Pilates. It's going to keep you in shape. It's going to keep your core strong. And, you're middle-aged and you got to keep yourself in shape. And we're like, okay, whatever, Bruno. So we did Pilates and, we had no idea how much it helped us. I mean, until we were out of it. And I realized, gosh, we were so lucky that we didn't get injured badly, that we, we're able to come out of it with great memories, and we kept ourselves healthy, and it was just such a great form of exercise. So I started to go see him on a personal level, one-on-ones and semi-privates, and just loved it. So he taught me how to teach Pilates, and from there I just started teaching it in the gyms, and then I became certified, and that's when I moved to Asia and taught a ton of Pilates over there, and plus other group exercise programs. And it's just, for me, it's been a great way to stay in shape, to feel good about myself, and doesn't take a lot of time, especially since I know it now and I have equipment at my disposal if I need it and want it. And plus a mat works just fine too. Right. So it's been a great journey.
Cool. So let me ask you this. You mentioned you're a gymnast. You did a little bit of workout in the gym. When you went to the gym, I mean, have you ever done like a 6 or a 12-week really hard, I don't want to say hardcore, but a really focused fitness program, a workout program? Or did you always do you were just doing that to just change things up, but your love was always in the gymnast area?
Well, actually, I started going to the group exercise classes, and that's kind of what I found I liked, because I liked basically being told what to do and not have to think about it so much.
And these were like boot camp type style?
Back then, high impact, step was big. Not so much the weight classes. Those weren't really in the group exercise room just yet, at least here in the States. But just a lot of, aerobics. You're standing, being fun to kick your leg high and
jazzercise.
Yeah, well, I did that for a little while too.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
They're up here in Carlsbad.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they're still around. It's great.
I know.
Awesome.
Okay.
But that's I did for a while, like when I was competing in the aerobics competitions, I went off on my own and tried to do fitness competitions. So during that time frame, I did do some intense like gym workouts, with the weights and stuff. And Boy, I'll tell you, it was tough. I didn't really particularly like that because I just enjoy being around people and I like the group environment and there's, nothing better than working out with friends. And even if you don't know them, it's just fun to meet new people. And in the weight room, it's just so, sweat and tears as far as I was concerned. So
Okay.
that's kind of, my route was more the group exercise room.
Now, when we talk fitness competitions, we're talking walking across the stage type fitness competitions?
Yep, bathing
Okay,
suit. And you had to
cool.
do a
Yeah.
routine. Yeah, and I think the first year I did it, they had the evening gown also. So
Okay.
I think that's kind of phased out, or that's part of it. But there's so many different divisions now.
Yeah.
I would have no idea even how to approach it, but it was pretty fun to do. A girlfriend of mine did it with me, and so we kind of helped each other and trained and tried to motivate each other. But so tough, such a grueling schedule, and we both worked full time. She was going to school full time, and it was just tough. So
Okay.
I didn't stay in that too long, but it was a great experience.
So you're busy during that period in your life, and just that was just one more stressor on top of it.
Yeah. Well, we kind of looked at it as a way to escape from the everyday world of
Uh-huh.
work, school, or, whatever else you were doing. So it was, even though it was a grueling schedule, and even when I was in the aerobic competitions, we would practice every single day. And then our choreographer was up in Orange County. So we would drive up there like once a week and we traveled to different competitions. And so it took a lot of time, but that was like our escape from reality.
Right.
So it was tough and we're like complaining the whole time. When it was the off season, we realized how much we really missed it because we had that camaraderie and that, that spirit that bound us together to, keep us motivated every day to wake up and get moving.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And I've noticed just talking to so many different fitness experts, and one thing that we try to talk to a lot of people, and I do too, is that you're going to go through waves and try different stuff out,
Oh, yeah.
find what you like. And
Yeah.
once you find it, obviously your passion is Pilates.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really going to start diving into. But once you find that passion, you can always work stuff in to change it up. But
Yeah.
that, for me, it's cycling, and everybody here who listens, they know that. Hey, it's cycling. But I go through periods like right now where I'm really working on just my abs but I still do my cycling and I just sort of make it all work. So
Yeah. Well, we're going to get you in that Pilates room, Tony.
I know we are. So all of you are listening going, okay, let's dive into Pilates. I'm going to share with you real quick. I want to show you guys. Here's Portia's book, Pilates Illustrated, and I got to share because she lives here in San Diego. Right there, she signed it. Can you guys see that? So if she's in your area, make sure you get her to sign it. And I just gotta say for you folks out there, we do a lot of stuff online. Obviously, Fit Marriage is all online, but it's fun when I get to meet folks like Portia just here in town, and we got a chit chat before we even got on this interview a week or two ago. So pick it up, and we're gonna start jumping into this. And one thing I'm gonna say real quick, I love the book. This thing is stacked, you guys. It's 230 pages. Yeah, 228. And I mean, there's just pictures and pictures. But the cool thing I want to tell you is it's not like some of these books you read where you keep going on and on and on. You're like, for crying out loud, let's get to the good stuff. It's one chapter. Portia goes over this really quick, talks about a little bit of Pilates, who she is, the benefits of it, which we're going to talk about, and then boom, you're in it. And I thought that was really cool. I love that. I love the way you've laid it out. And so,
Oh, thanks.
were you?
Yeah. No, I was just going to say I love to read, but with an exercise book, anything like this, you want people to be able to move right away.
Right.
And it was great. The format that the publisher, provided with all the pictures was perfect because people love to look at pictures and it's so helpful.
Yeah, totally. So let's get into this. Pilates, what are they? How do they differ from, say, yoga? Because I think a lot of people, and even in myself, and I'll say this, I've done yoga before. Pilates, I haven't done. What's the difference? How do they differ? And then some of these benefits we'll jump into as well.
All right. Well, Pilates and yoga have a lot of similarities. I think the biggest difference is that yoga's been around for over 5,000 years, and Pilates has only been around, well, just under 100 years. So Joseph Pilates was an actual person from Germany, and it was his form of exercise, and he drew from a lot of different disciplines. He was a boxer. He just did all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure that his exercises, once you do get to a chance to do Pilates, Tony, you'll see that there's a lot of similar exercises to yoga. You'll see the plank in there and that type of stuff, push-ups. So that all looks very familiar. They're both mind-body. Pilates really focuses on your core, and that's not just your abdominals, it's your back muscles, it's your pelvic floor, diaphragm. It's all that. It's your center of of you. So that's what we focus on in Pilates, is getting, a strong core. If you have a strong core, then your limbs can move freely and in the range of motion that they need to, and they can get stronger too, and you won't be all, soft in the middle, as they say.
Okay.
So it's really important. And yoga does a lot of that too, but it is a little bit more internal. So when I describe the difference between yoga and Pilates, I just make it really simple. Yoga is like from the outside in, and Pilates is from the inside out.
Okay. Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. Now, I know with yoga, there has always been sort of this meditation, a religious sort of connotation to that. From my understanding, a spiritual.
Yeah.
From my understanding, Joseph Pilates started this, but there's nothing like that involved with Pilates.
No, not like that type of meditation, or just, what they call savasana at the end of a class, where you actually lie down and you close your eyes, that type of thing. It is still mind body though. So you're connecting your movements with, your mind has to connect with the breath, and the breath with the movement. So that is the same in yoga and Pilates. Okay. But like you said, yoga is much more spiritual. That side of it is definitely there. And you don't see that so much in Pilates. There's not like a mantra or anything like that, except that it's a very mindful exercise. You can't be thinking about 10 other things while you're doing Pilates. It's very focused and precise. And that's why if you'll see Pilates routines, in most of them, the most number of repetitions that you do is usually 10 or 12. And that's because every one that you do needs to be perfect, or should be perfect, as much as you can within your scope for that day. And then that way you're not wasting energy. So that's one of the main differences. So
for busy folks, it really helps them to sort of push out everything that's happening. I mean, here at Fit Marriage, we talk about, you're in a relationship, you have kids, you may run a business, you got a job, you got the chores inside and outside. So Pilates is really allowing folks to just sort of internalize or look inward while they're doing their exercises.
Right. It's shutting out, well, not shutting out, but it's becoming more aware of your own body in time and space. So you're not, thinking about the kids or your job or the groceries or dinner or anything that's happening around you. You're thinking about what you're doing for that 50 minutes to an hour, or even if it's just 10 minutes, you're just making yourself really precise within your thoughts too, so that you're not letting all the outside kind of chatter interfere with what you're doing with your body. So it's a great way to actually become more awake and vibrant, if even just 10 minutes a day, because it works on your posture. And posture, I think, is really important for becoming aware and alive, and also kind to yourself, because you like yourself better, because you stand up taller, you look better. All these things are outcomes of doing Pilates on a regular basis.
I like what you said about becoming more aware, because there's one thing I've learned over the years working with married couples, and it really ends up being in the bedroom, is that they're not aware.
Right.
you know what I'm saying? They're doing all the stuff you were talking about. They're thinking about the kids, the grocery list, what I got to do tomorrow, and they're missing out on this awesome time that they could be having sex with their spouse. So I think that's really cool, that using Pilates could really benefit you, not just physically, but in other ways, your relationship with your spouse. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about the benefits, because in the book you go through 6 benefits of Pilates. And what are those? Can you share those with us?
Sure. I'm just gonna, because there's so many. I mean, I had to narrow
Yeah.
it down, so I'll go to, the book and just kind of read from there. But the first one, it creates body awareness. Just like you say, being aware of where you are in time and space, but also how you look. So for some people, it's as easy as just pulling your shoulders back and lifting and opening up your chest. That makes you stand up taller, and it literally makes you taller in your torso because you've lifted your rib cage off of your hips. It's as simple as that. And just having that more upright posture is a more positive attitude, and it makes you aware of your surroundings, and it also makes you more aware of how you're feeling, and and then you can have a chance to look out and see how your spouse is feeling
Hmm.
and maybe have a better connection there. So creating that body awareness, I think, is really key to creating some happiness in your life that might be missing if you're really in tune to what's going on as far as the household, but you're not in tune to what's going on with yourself or your partner.
Yeah.
I think you're really missing out. Then the second one, long and lean muscles, or long and strong muscles. The really nice thing about Pilates is that there's no weight involved. It's you and gravity. So that's a big battle these days. And
Yeah, because gravity does love to pull on our muscles.
yeah, exactly. And just contracting them is
Yeah.
a great way to work out. I think a lot of people forget that something as easy as walking, and walking with good posture, is going to at least help you create some muscle tone.
Yeah.
That laying on the couch is not going to do that.
Right.
Changing the channel and just eating your ice cream or whatever. But creating these long lean muscles, because we don't use weights. We might use resistance with the Pilates machines, but the mat work that I present in the book doesn't have any of that. I do use some of the small accessories, but just you and gravity is a great way to, I mean, look at a push-up. How much muscle memory and contraction can you get with a push-up? That
Yeah.
uses your entire body, and it's a hard exercise. And just mastering it would be a great thing for somebody to do if they could get, 2 push-ups out a day.
Hmm.
They would be, start creating long, lean muscles, versus pushing, a 40-pound weight that is too much for them, and they end up straining, their back or something. So,
And then they're off for
right, exactly.
weeks and they become discouraged.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally agree with you there.
Also, Pilates helps with, usually you hear people say that it helps with flexibility. I like to call it more range of motion and agility. So you're just giving your
Hmm.
muscles free rein, basically, to move within the range that they're meant to move. Bulkier muscles tie you down. A
Hmm.
prime example is looking at, a weightlifter. They're walking around all bulky, and, it might look good aesthetically, to some, but, really they can't lift their arm up over their head, or, put a shirt on without having somebody help them. So you really want to look at, especially being in the middle of my life right now, and, being 48, I look at, what am I going to be doing in 30 years from now? I want to be
Right.
teaching aerobics. I want to be teaching Pilates or teaching yoga. I want to be, moving and out there and doing stuff. And if I'm not keeping myself flexible and agile, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Can I do a little rant real quick?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I want to tell people, if you're watching this video, Portia does not look 48. She looks awesome. So if you're 20 something years old and you're complaining that you don't have fitness, or you're early 30s and I'm late 30s and you're complaining, you need to start getting up off the couch. You need to pick up her book and start doing something. And that's, and I'm sorry to say, but sometimes you need a little punch and a little kick in the butt to get moving. So if you're listening to this going, wow, this sounds really great, but I can't do it, you can. I mean, you can do it. Portia's 48 years old and she looks awesome. And I could see her doing this in 30 years. So you can do it. So,
Thanks,
okay.
Tony. Yeah, it is really important to keep moving. It's so unfortunate that these days, you see young kids that are not active and they're demotivated, and it's so sad to me, because I just can't imagine not working out or not
Hmm.
moving. To me, that would be like, oh, that would be living hell. I
Yeah.
mean, to be that way. And I on the days when I don't get to work out, it's, I feel, oh gosh, I'm missing something. Well, what I'm missing is that, rush of endorphins that comes from just moving your body.
Yeah.
It's so important, and it really doesn't take much.
Yeah, you were saying 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes a day. Think about it. If you're doing 10 minutes a day when you were doing nothing before, what a
Okay.
difference that would make in just a really short amount of time, just in the way you feel.
I got a question for you because I think of Pilates and I think a lot of guys go, ooh, that's a woman's thing. And so they sort of, they don't sort of, they do. They just sort of go, that's not for me. I'm not going to get lean doing that. I'm not going to get muscular doing that.
Mhm.
But I'm sure over the years you've seen changes in men as well as women. And
Oh,
can you talk to us about that? You know, even the husband and wife maybe even doing this together.
yeah. That's a really good question, Tony. And I think it's really important for men to realize the benefits and the huge benefit with Pilates in men is that if you look at a lot of men, just even men that work out on an average workout, they go do the weights, they might, get on a cardio machine or something. They do that, 2 to 3 times a week. And that's all they've done for 30 years. Um, they typically are really stiff. So they have a hard time keeping their shoulders back, keeping their chest up and open. Their head is a little bit forward. And this goes for women too that are inactive. But just getting a little bit of mobility, just a shoulder roll or stretching through the neck. I mean, that seems so simple, but do they do it? Probably not.
No.
And as you age, that you're going to get stiffer. And if you're not moving those muscles and all you do is keep contracting and building muscles and keeping them strong and you never stretch them or make them flexible, then pretty soon you're going to lose any range of motion you have. And walking is going to become difficult. And, even some of the stuff that we do in Pilates with, the feet on the foot bar, say, I'll just do you talk about reformer work, placing your feet on the foot bar and flexing and pointing your foot and getting some range of motion. And in the book, I actually have some footwork in there that you can do seated and getting the circles, the range of motion in the ankle joint itself so that when you walk, you don't fall over because you're so stiff. If you step on the side of a curb and miss it for some reason, if you're not flexible in your ankle and you fall, what's going to break? Probably your hip if you're older, right?
If you're
And
older, if you're older, it's the first place that seems to hit.
yeah,
And we hear it more and more as we get older.
I was going to
Sorry
say,
to say.
Tony, it's even for a 40-year-old, if they're really stiff and say they
Really?
don't know that they might have osteopenia or osteoporosis because they've never had a bone density scan and they have a fall like that, just a
Yeah.
fluke fall. They're out on a walk, they miss the curb, they fall, they break their leg over their hip. And then, that's incapacitating. And then imagine what happens when scar tissue builds up and then they're more inactive. They
Right.
don't get back into the gym and they don't do anything at all. It just gets worse.
Yeah.
So for men, I think it's even more important that they realize the benefits of being able to move, the joints the way that they're supposed to move. I mean,
Okay.
you should be able to lift your arm over your head and you should be able to grasp your hands behind your back and open up the chest. I mean, these are really simple things, but there's so many guys that can't do that because they might be too muscle bound or they're just inactive and the muscles and joints have gotten stiff.
And in today's day and age, we've gone from a society that was outside working to a
Yep.
society that's inside. I do it too, but
I
we're
know.
in front of these computers and we're like this and we're looking,
Yep.
and I notice myself too. If I sit there with my mouse and my arm and I'm just sitting there too long, I'll get like a little kink right here in the back
Yep.
of my shoulder blade, and I'm going, wow, I got to get into my exercises that I do that allow me to release, and so I don't have this pain. So I think you're right on with that. When somebody starts this, okay, we're talking to people that they may be a couple pounds out of weight, they may be 20 or 30 pounds out of weight. I think a lot of what we've seen over the years and have learned over the years is that we got to be doing some sort of high intensity. We got to be doing circuits. We got to be doing a lot of sprints, whatever it may be, so we can burn the calories, so we lose the weight. Now with Pilates, are people going to see that sort of transformation? Are they going to see that sort of weight loss that we would see with another type of program? I mean, they're going to get the range of motion.
Right. Probably not. They're going to see more of a firming of the muscles
Okay.
and, they might see their shirt or pant size go down because they're, working on the core, and that means your abdominal muscles. And we
Right.
tend to trim down a bit when we start exercising because we usually eat correctly versus eating huge meals and, not doing anything at all. I think when you exercise regularly, your appetite becomes more normal, meaning that you eat, 4 to 5 times a day, smaller meals versus one chunky big meal, or not eat at all, which is a huge mistake because then your body just thinks that you're not going to ever feed it. So it just hangs on to whatever fat stores it has so that it's safe for
It's
when you
in
don't
starvation mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They want to protect all our internal organs, so it just goes into this fat hoarding starvation mode, and you wonder why you're not losing.
Yeah, so you will see results. I think with Pilates, the biggest thing is to be consistent.
Okay.
And again, what you'll see is that you get the range of motion, which will afford you that motivation and desire and ability to actually go out and do other things like taking a walk or a run or an aerobics class, or, do some weights or something like that. So it might not be as big in the realm, because I know people these days, they're all about, I want it and I want it 5 minutes ago, and let's take off the weight as quickly as possible, and then
Microwave society.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the same thing with weight loss. I mean, they want to see results right away, and I think that's really not, they're not being fair to themselves because they didn't put it on, in 2 weeks.
Right.
So they're not going to take it off in 2 weeks, and if they do, they're going to put it right back on. So I think with Pilates, at least it gives you a more realistic view of how things should be. And it's just a gradual change that you'll see over time. Again, if you're real consistent, doing it 3 to 5 times a week in your home, and if you, come take a session or a class, once or twice a week, you will really see a lot of difference in how you feel and what you're able to do.
Well, and I like what you said, though, was one, with Pilates, you're increasing your range of motion.
Right.
2, you're toning your muscles. So from somebody who's sedentary, they're actually smarter to start something like a Pilates workout or a session, then go into maybe a more structured 12-week workout. Because at that point in time, from what you're describing to me, one, they have this range of motion. So when they go do a push-up or something, they can actually move their entire body. And 2, the flexibility issue or the range of motion, but then number 2, the toning. They've got some tone going on. The muscles are starting to get strength back. So when they go into a program, they'd have results that they probably would want and not get hurt.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because with Pilates, again, it does focus on strengthening your core. So if you have a strong core, then you're more able to get on a treadmill and endure a half-hour walk or run on the treadmill, or go in the weight room and see a trainer and be able to, lift some weights. Whereas before, they might not have been able to do that because maybe they can't even stand up straight enough to want to lift weights or be able to lift weights.
Right. Okay. So folks can do this at home. Obviously, they can pick up your book and do it at home.
Great.
and there are sessions in there. You've said a number of times that 10 minutes a day. Obviously, as you progress, how long would you say a longer workout is for folks?
Well, I would say a standard workout is usually 50 minutes to an hour. That's what you're going to get in a studio or in a gym setting if you take a class. But as far as a home practice, for instance, in the book, I've got lots of workouts in the back of the book, and they range from 10 minutes to an hour or 40 minutes or something like that. So you can piece together workouts and make the workouts longer, or you can just do, a 10-minute segment. And a lot of these are just, they're awareness programs, if you will. They kind of make you aware of your spine and how it moves and kind of wakes up your muscles. So it's a really great thing to do first thing in the morning or even at night to help relax you after a really busy, hard day at work.
Okay. Have you seen folks come in with their kids?
To bring their kids to Pilates? Oh, yeah.
And do it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've a couple of people that bring in like their teenage kids that are in high school. Some are in dance programs, or maybe they play a sport, or maybe they just want to get, physically involved. And plus it's nice because the parents are there with them You don't see it a lot, and some studios are just a little bit more available for that because the times might fit better.
Okay.
Because obviously kids, if they should be in school, then they're
Yeah.
going to be at school when their parent is at the Pilates studio. But it is really nice to see the younger kids, like even in the classes today, coming in and getting interested in it because they want to make their posture better. They want to feel better. They just want to be able to move. And they realize the benefits of Pilates, which is really great.
Yeah, because then it becomes almost a full family
Yeah. And then
activity.
they learn at a young age how important and critical exercise is to feeling good on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah, totally. Let's go back a little bit. You talked a little bit about nutrition,
Hmm.
and I'd love to just get your insights on what you eat sort of on a daily basis. Um, because a lot of folks that we talk to have been more in the just a more weight loss, fat burning, which is
Yeah.
completely different than what you do day to day. So if you can just give us a little bit of an idea of what you eat, how often.
Well, let's see. I'm very blessed and lucky that my boyfriend loves to cook, and so he's the main cook at
He's
night.
the chef.
He's the chef at night. Nothing fancy. We eat a lot of fish,
Okay.
chicken. We've got a barbecue in the backyard, so we do steaks occasionally too. And then for the morning, I usually make a shake with protein powder and flaxseed oil or something in it, just that, and it's got fruit, banana to get
Hmm.
me going. Because a lot of times I'll start my day pretty early in the morning, at 5:45 or 6 a.m. class or
Ooh.
client. So I need to get something in my stomach, and I can't stand to just go and not have anything because I'm just like a little lightheaded if I
Yeah.
don't. I can do it, but I don't like it. I prefer to have something, and that's just easy. And then I'll have a mid-morning snack like a yogurt or a piece of fruit. And then typically lunch is either leftover from the night before, or if I'm at home working, then, I'll make a bowl of soup and, since it's been chillier out.
Yeah.
Or, we like wraps, that type of thing with hummus and vegetables, and we love salads. So, and then another snack in the afternoon and, dinner at night. So, pretty basic.
Right.
I've never been one to really like counting calories or that. I totally get why people don't like to do it. It's cumbersome. It makes you think about food all the time. And to me, food is for fueling.
Hmm.
It's not, I do like to eat a good meal, and I like to eat out and that type of thing, but it doesn't rule my life. And I prefer it that way and that's kind of how I was raised too. My mom was really into let's just eat because we need to eat. It wasn't like a big, being a single mom, it wasn't one of those things that we had dinners every night at 6 or anything like that.
Okay.
So we just kind of were raised my brother and I, to be pretty self-sufficient. And we figured out early on that, hey, we're going to eat when we need to eat and,
Yeah.
stop when we're full. And luckily we had enough, training, if you will. It wasn't really, I don't think my mom really thought about that. It was just kind of natural. It was just what we learned. You just eat when you need to eat, and you stop when you're not hungry anymore.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So somebody gets into your book, they grab it, they're loving it at home,
Like you.
like me. Yeah, and Elise and I are going to get into the studio here. We got
All
to
right.
just figure out our schedules.
Yes.
Um, that's
That's
the
always,
hard part.
yeah.
But we're going to make it happen. They're digging it. They're loving the transformation. They're loving what Pilates is providing in their lives. They are motivated now to get out and walk. But they may be like you. You said it early in the interview. The reason you loved the group sessions was because you were around other folks. And
Yeah.
that sort
Yeah.
of kept you going. We're fortunate you're here
Mhm.
in town. You're 15 minutes away where your studio is. Where can somebody go to find a Pilates instructor in their area that is reputable, that they can trust, they can check out?
Well, you definitely, I think it's important to get a really good introduction to Pilates, like you said, and go to a reputable studio. When you're looking for studios in your area, you want to make sure that the people that are teaching there are trained. meaning that they have a nationally recognized certification. And it's, usually they'll have it posted on the wall, or they'll, it's on their card or whatever, that they're, balanced body, or that they're STOT, or that they're peak trained, or whatever it might be. And there's only about 5 that are really, pretty big and well known.
Okay.
And there's lots and lots of little ones. But the main thing is I think that you find a place that is close to you, that makes sense in your budget, that makes sense in your schedule. A lot of times people say, okay, I'm going to come 5 days a week. And they come to week 1 and they make it once. And so right away, they're already discouraged. They feel like they failed and they don't come back.
Right.
You have to set a realistic goal. And sometimes that goal doesn't include going to a studio because it might be out of their budget. So just getting to a gym, maybe that has a monthly membership, and taking a class. I mean, granted, you're not going to maybe get the same scope of training or, instruction that you would at a studio. At least they'll get in there and do something. And I think that that's more important. I mean, we try to, at the studio that I work at, we keep things, as cost effective as possible for people. And usually that's through classes. So that the more people you have, obviously, the less you can charge. So those have become really popular in the last year, the group reformer classes. And, there's still a lot of people that come in one-on-one. They're able to afford it. They come in once a week. They come in twice a week, whatever it might be. So I think it's just really important to find a good match, if you will. Yeah. Just like, if you're trying to meet up with somebody to become a couple, you want to, make sure that the studio or that the gym is a right setting for you too, that the schedule's good, that the budget's good, and that you like the people there.
Yeah. No, those are all great points. And I think the budget is a big one for a lot of folks, because they get all excited and then all of a sudden they realize that it's not in the budget and they get discouraged and then they don't do it at all. And that's not what we want you guys to do. I mean, we want you to be active. We want you to feel good about yourself. So don't put roadblocks up.
Yeah, exactly.
Know what your budget is and find what works for you. It might be just 1 day a week, and that's cool. Hey, you get some interaction.
Maybe it's even going to a studio for like 4 sessions, so that you get a basis or a base foundation for the work.
Yeah.
And then, you buy my book and you can look at the routines in there, and, you can find a lot of stuff online too, which is helpful. But I mean, just to go into a studio and get that one-on-one training, even if it's just for even 1 session, would be better than nothing. Mm-hmm. And at least that way you get some one-on-one personal attention for your body, your whatever your physical needs are or restrictions are. That trainer or person can help you, and then you take it from there.
That's a great idea.
That takes a little bit of self-motivation, but not a bad thing to have.
No, not at all. And again, the benefits are huge, folks. I mean, think about yourself, but also think about your family. Think about, being able to be more sexually intimate with your spouse, the awareness when you're there in the bedroom, even just day to day, just being aware of what's happening. I got to say, Elisa and the kids have been gone for a day, and it's amazing how my mind is clear and there's no noise. So I can understand where this, just taking that time and just sort of going, okay, aware of what's going on in me, so that way I can be aware of what's happening with Elisa and then the kiddos as well.
Right. So. Yeah, it's really important. An hour out of your day, or even, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes out of your day. You might say, I don't have that 10 or 15 minutes, but in reality, you do. Because guess what? The kids, your husband, your wife, they're all going to be there waiting for you. Yeah. All the problems, all the bills, all the good things and bad things are all going to be there after that 10 minutes, after that half an hour, or after that hour. And taking time out for yourself makes you a better person, and you can better provide for your, family.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. And wow, I think we're going to just end it on that. Honestly, I think we're going to just end it on that, because there's nothing you hit it on the head, unless you'd love to say something else.
No, I really very happy that you interviewed me, Tony. It's been great to meet you and talk with you. And I just hope that more and more people will be aware of the benefits of Pilates and come join me for a session over at the studio or buy the book and make their lives better.
Yeah, and tell them how they can contact you. Website, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, actually, if you go to my website, which is www.portiapage, and that's PortiaPage.com, that's got all my information about Facebook, Twitter, all my contact information. So
Cool.
any way you want that works for you for getting a hold of me.
Yeah, and if you're on the page, I'm going to have it down below like I always do. I'll have links to Portia's, all her stuff. So get in contact with her if you're been doing Pilates and need some questions answered or looking to get into it. I mean, she's available there on Twitter. I've talked to her a number of times there as well. So Portia, thanks for taking the time teaching me about Pilates and the whole Fit Marriage community, man. Thank you.
You're awesome, Tony. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
There you have it. Portia Page teaching us loads of information about Pilates. It was an excellent interview, and I hope you got as much out of it as I did. I have since have gone and done an introductory Pilates course, and I will have to tell you, it is amazing and worked me out. So if you found this interesting, if you've never tried Pilates, go and take it. Go and try it out. See the difference it can make in your life, in your body, in your family. To that, I want to thank you for joining me here today at the Fit Marriage Show. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to hit me up, Tony@fitmarriage.com. Thank you and have a great day.